Hello, everyone, and welcome to Insights with Jörg Zucchi. I have the pleasure to be here with Hein van Vlastuin. And one of the things that I am really intrigued about his experience is that he's been in the Netherlands for many years in the software space. He's founded and actually sold a company there and moved to South Africa 10 years ago. This is where his heart lies. And one of the things that we were talking about was what is it like to be an entrepreneur in the Netherlands versus what it's like to be in South Africa. Welcome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your background.
I've done like quite a few things.
Mm-hmm.
So I've studied engineering.
Yeah.
I've studied theology. I've worked as a mathematics teacher at a high school.
Yeah.
And when I studied engineering, I had my own website development company.
Yeah.
And then now I'm trying to do, or I've done like the same thing here again.
And what is, in your experience, having had a company in the Netherlands and having had a company or having a company in South Africa, what are the differences in terms of running the company, in terms of building the company, in terms of staff?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the biggest differences is that when it comes to the market, is that in South Africa the corporates are very dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And besides the corporate, you have a lot of very small companies, but most of them they are more like in survival modus. So it's difficult to work with small companies in South Africa. While back at home, the SMEs are very powerful. So you can have a company with maybe 5 people,
Yeah.
which will invest like 100,000 euro or €1,000,000 in like some custom software. While in South Africa, that's impossible.
Is that just because the middle sort of ground for SMEs is just not existent, or what is it? Why is this dominance of the large corporates?
Yeah, I think. I think that's a big question, but I think the middle ground doesn't exist, and so in South Africa, I feel like a lot of stress to jump from being very small to grow very fast. While back at home, there's not much stress to grow because let's say if you start with 3 people,
Yeah.
you can work for local companies which maybe have like 10 or 20 people. Those companies with 20 people, they service companies with 100 people. So the growth process is much more organic. So you don't, back at home, I feel like you need like way less business strategy, because if we would be working from this building back
Yeah.
at home, we would have 3 or 4 clients in the building, and actually those clients would
It's
be able
enough to justify the business.
yeah. So the dynamics here are very, very different.
That's very interesting. And is the dynamics here, or the challenge in growing, is it because there's just not enough small businesses that can be your clients?
Yeah. and like I feel like if we want to work with larger corporates, we need to be larger and we need to be like on a higher level. So what we do at the moment, we don't really work for South African companies, and we mainly work for SMEs and like IT companies back at home.
That's actually an interesting niche. And do you think that's a business that can be replicated by other local companies, or you need somebody like yourself who's got a foot in the networks in the Netherlands or in Europe and a foot in South Africa?
Yeah, I think you need to understand the local language.
Mm-hmm.
And not just the language. I was speaking with like one of my colleagues, and she said you need to understand the local dialect. Something that works in Amsterdam might not work in Utrecht or in Rotterdam. But so I believe what I can do, I can help South African companies to find potential like partners in the Netherlands. But then I need to be involved in the process.
Right, from a quality perspective, from a delivering.
not necessarily that. I would more say from a trust perspective.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you started a company here. We are in the office, in his offices, and I see quite a lot of people working here. What was your experience in terms of employing people, in terms of skills? Often they say, no, Africa, this dark continent, you know, this horrible statement that some people make. What is your experience on the ground?
Which statement did you make?
Often they say that in Africa,
Yeah.
the skills are not there
Yeah.
compared to, say, in Utrecht.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's difficult. One of the things that I found most disappointing
Yeah.
is that people who have a degree or a diploma here can't necessarily do the work. Well, myself, I'm a self-taught developer.
Yeah.
But I learn every day like new things, and then so some of the developers ask me like, how do you do that?
Yeah.
I said no, I found this tutorial like online, and it tells me like how to do it. So in the beginning, I was quite uncritical of who I employed, and it didn't work out. It was like gave me too many problems.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've started to hire more expensive people. I'm much more critical in the hiring process, and now we are doing all right. But I have to admit, when I worked back at home, I worked by myself,
Okay.
so I can't really compare it to how is it
Fair
back
enough.
at home. What I hear from my colleagues back at home
Mm-hmm.
is also there, like they need to be very critical in the hiring
Okay.
process, and I think like in general, IT is a very like high end level of work. So people from all over the world, it's basically only for the smartest and brightest and like most creative and most committed ones.
Okay.
If you don't really have that thing for IT, like
It's not a side
yeah.
option.
But I think what is the challenge here is that most, let's say, young black people don't grow up with a laptop when they are young. They don't have the exposure, so they only start studying these things when they are in university. So it's too late. So they are, and then it depends. Like some of them have like fast internet at home,
Yeah.
and a good computer, but not everyone has that. So you can see the difference between a developer who, when he leaves at 5 o'clock, goes home and now goes and study his or her like own like skills that they find interesting,
Yeah.
or someone who goes at home and doesn't have a computer like at all. So there are challenges.
And tell me, this is sort of an interesting aspect that you're also bringing out, which is there's so much knowledge. You yourself were saying about self-taught, online courses, and seminars, tutorials. Is there, you know, in this world where literally everything, almost everything can be found online. So if you have the attitude and the personality, there almost are no barriers, other than obviously not having internet access and so forth. Do you find that, and this is not so much about South Africa versus other countries, but what is your experience? Are people becoming more aware that there's no jobs anymore, that they have to learn and improve on their own, or are the people just still focusing more on finding a job?
I'm not sure. I would have to think about it. Sometimes I'm a bit skeptical, and I feel like we as people, we are getting dumber because we have fast internet at home,
Yeah.
but we just watch Netflix, and we don't really use the sources that are there. So, but I have the dream, like in the South African context,
Yeah.
to, let's say, motivate people to study like online, and people who are interested in IT. So what we do here, we give young people who maybe can't get into a university, we give them the opportunity to work with us, but then they have to do like a self learning. We will mentor them,
Okay.
but we only will work with people who can basically teach themselves.
Good.
Otherwise, like it's not really going to work. But you need some kind of motivation and the belief that yeah, I can do it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And that's, if there's any one lesson that we can take away from this, is that it's an exciting world, and if you've got the attitude for self-improvement, for going out there and grabbing the knowledge, then this is the world for
And
you.
then one thing that I really believe in is studying part-time
Mhm.
when you're in IT,
Yeah.
because at the end in IT you have to master everything by yourself. But when you go to school, you get a certain like guidance, but also a certain discipline. But the problem, especially in South Africa, is that young people don't have part-time jobs because the unemployment is so high. So there are many people who finish university or college and they have never worked.
Exactly.
So I believe that if you can start working at age 18, you go to school 1 day per week, or you go to school on Saturday, or you do it online. I believe, especially in IT, that's the way to go.
Good. Thank you so much. Thanks for watching.
Pleasure.